Elon Musk has just confirmed this big Tesla news, and he responded to surprised investors. Tesla laid off its entire 40-person US growth and advertising content team last night. There were also significant layoffs in Tesla's design studio and staff located in Hawthorne. The company still has a smaller marketing group in Europe. This is not necessarily all bad, even in the short term, because Elon Musk has been directly promoting Tesla, so maybe he will do a lot more of that going forward. And Elon proactively promoting Tesla could actually result in more sales than doing advertising campaigns. The question though is, will Elon Musk continue promoting Tesla actively like this? Because of this news, I would also expect some Tesla analysts to lower their price targets for Tesla stock even further. And I too, like James, have a hard time believing that they had a team of 40 people working on just content alone. However, they probably had no power and influence over any big decisions and no budget to work with. But 40 people? I would have expected a lot more content from Tesla. Elon responded by saying exactly the ads were far too generic, could have been any car. I like responses from Elon Musk, and if you do enjoy daily Tesla stock news, click on the like button. All of the Tesla ads that I have seen were pretty much really generic, and they just contained recycled footage. Sawyer replied to Elon, yeah, bring me and Omar in. Yeah, these things are too easy to sell, says Omar. And Omar is offering more help. Elon, I will consult for you for free and what the best strategy is to tell the Tesla story, how one of the greatest stories in the history of American business here, and it has not been told well for a few years. Yashi chimed into conversation as well. Time for Tesla to hire a performance marketing team and outsource this. As much as I'm for vertical integration, they could benefit greatly from external perspective. It certainly would be great to have Apple level marketing team, and ideally much better. And there are more people surprised, just like me, that there were 40 people doing US content. Tesla, by the way, started building the team about 4 months ago. This was part of Musk's early move on traditional advertising and placing Tesla content on other platforms here on X. However, Tesla just made another move, and I like this one. When you go to Tesla's website, you can navigate much easier in terms of, are you going to lease a car, finance, or pay cash? You can also customize everything. You can calculate your annual mileage, gasoline cost, and you can browse a little bit more. Overall, it's just a better experience, so I like it. Before, the lease option was sort of somewhat hidden. Omar definitely agrees with me, and this could be Elon pushing for this kind of thing directly. And maybe Tesla could just automatically pre-select the financing option when you first land on this page. Right now, if I refresh it, automatically it shows you cash first, and that's not bad, but most people want to know, how much am I going to pay per month, because I'm financing or I'm leasing, and most people don't pay in cash. Unless they're like me, I paid for my Tesla in cash. Back to advertising, people wanted to see Tesla fight FUD, not talk about the HEPA filter. LG Energy Solutions is reportedly close to signing a contract with Tesla to supply $4.3 billion worth of battery material. Supply would begin next year. The material ordered is estimated to be installed in 1.3 to 1.4 million electric vehicles. I translated the article from Korean to English, and these are not finished cells. Now, is that 1.3 to 1.4 million number a yearly number, or that's just the total number that Tesla will get over some period of time, over multiple years maybe? It does state, however, that detailed discussions are currently underway and a contract is expected to be signed in the second half of the year. So supply will begin next year and is estimated to last 6 to 7 years. So most likely Tesla is going to be getting enough material to make 200,000 cars per year from this. So not that many, but this is going to be in-house battery production based on this article. Elon just replied with a maybe to this post. Florida could be among the first US states where Tesla introduces unattended FSD at level 4, as no regulatory hurdles or permits are required there, given the rapid progress of FSD and introduction of FSD at level 4 with passenger in the driver's seat but unsupervised is, in my honest opinion, likely by the end of the year. This is as close as we have gotten so far this year to Elon Musk saying, yep, FSD is going to be solved this year. He didn't say this time, yeah, it is going to happen. He just said maybe. However, keep in mind that maybe he did not read the full post. Maybe he just read the first few words here and then he just said maybe, and maybe he just didn't see the end of the post here because you have to click into it. By default, it only shows you this much. But I have been seeing so many people saying that regulatory approval is going to be insanely hard to a point that it's basically going to be impossible. I strongly disagree with that because look at what's happening in Florida. If you still think it's a problem, please update your biological neurons with the Florida law for autonomous vehicles. In 2019, the governor signed a landmark bill explicitly permitting self-driving vehicles to operate without a human on board. It's already allowed. And Tesla does not need to launch in every single place in the US all at once. Tesla can just take one market at a time. When will the first Tesla paid trip in a Tesla robotaxi take place? A legal trip in a Tesla with no driver. Most people seem to think it's going to happen in 2025. Now, technically today already with FSD V12, if you have tested the vehicle through a certain route many times, I think you could already do it. But to some degree, I think that would be highly gimmicky if Tesla decided to do that today because, okay, you can do it under these limited conditions, but it doesn't mean that it's safer than human driving under regular conditions in any random city in the US. And Elon did not say it's going to be safer than human driving this year. He just basically said, maybe we're going to get there, assuming that he read that whole post. And we know that Elon has been quite overly optimistic about this whole thing, so I would say probably not this year, just based on what Elon Musk is saying. So I think a much better question to ask is, in mass, when will these rides start taking place? Not just one gimmicky ride, because Tesla could already do it today here in Vancouver if it really wanted to. Yesterday, I had 2 intervention-free drives. They were about 10 minutes long each, and they were relatively simple drives, but I could have slept during these drives and I would have been fine. A big part of my Tesla stock investment thesis is that FSD will drive safer than an average human driver before 2030 ends. Omar is complaining about an email that Tesla sent. Terrible email wording from Tesla. He says this was supposed to list what was included with FSD. Instead, many people now think they are getting these features for free as they are included in the autopilot you're going back to. So someone's full self-driving trial is ending on April 28th, and it says subscribe to keep enjoying full self-driving capability. After this date, your car switches back to autopilot, includes navigate on autopilot, auto park, auto lane change, smart summon, response to traffic lights and stop signs, auto steer on city streets. You can purchase FSD in your Tesla account. Yeah, this is ouch. Please fix this, Tesla. Just write FSD includes or full self-driving includes. That email also has a typo, so I'm hoping this is not a real email, but Omar does not bash Tesla with fake stuff. I mean, he's a huge Tesla bull. If you are a Tesla employee watching this, please let your management know about the situation. Also, Tesla is no longer mentioning parking related features in FSD, which in my opinion allows Tesla to recognize a larger share of the profits up front. Does it also mean that new FSD licenses not include summon, banish, etc.? I think new licenses include that, but I guess if Tesla does not advertise that FSD includes that, you can recognize a bigger portion of that FSD revenue immediately. I personally, though, I never use it, but Omar says it can be super useful for getting your car in and out of tight spaces. Maybe I'll give it a try. There's also another person complaining about an email from Tesla when he subscribed to FSD. It first said auto steer on city streets is coming later this year. And by definition, when you turn on FSD, I mean the car does everything, including steering. So this is going to be wildly confusing to some customers, because if someone reads the email first before driving the car, they're going to think, oh, so the car doesn't drive in the city? I need to steer the steering wheel? What does that mean? When will Tesla release full self-driving unsupervised? This poll is almost over. Within 12 months, say 31% of the voters. 1 to 3 years, 42%. 3+ years, almost 20%. Never, 7.3%. And Dylan says that 31% of the people voting for this option that says FSD will be solved within 12 months is way too high. I think people are setting themselves up for disappointment, he says. I think I would have to not disagree with that statement. I mean, I will be extremely happy and thrilled if it does happen within 12 months. And if progress keeps continuing so quickly, it is possible. All I'm saying is I'm definitely not counting on that. However, GPT sort of came out of nowhere, so I think to a lot of people, that's how FSD is going to feel. To them, it's just going to come out of nowhere. And eventually, there's going to be a time when we do a poll like this, and within 12 months, it actually gets released. Eventually, it will happen. Just, is it going to be in the next 12 months? And overall, this chart, I think, is not wrong. We human beings have a hard time thinking in exponentials. Sawyer posted this. There's a small number of highly promising and viable robotaxi-specific FSD neural nets in development. Dojo-based data center in New York is getting close. The promising neural networks are quite a secret that only a few folks have access to. And that's good because we don't want that to get out to the public or get leaked to the competition. This comes from one of the hosts at Bloomberg. NVIDIA-based data center in Austin is proving expensive. GPU supply and compute constraints held back FSD progress, but Dojo did to some extent unlock that. It's good to see mainstream journalists covering FSD. This is not an edge case. This is LA traffic. This is a robotaxi. Okay, I skipped the first minute because there wasn't much going on, but now there's some action happening, and this seems perhaps more difficult than the Chuck's turn, because you have a lot more cars going. Now, they are not going as fast, so it's not as dangerous, but more difficult? Yeah, maybe. Oh.
Right. Now we have to go left.
Okay, this is an edge case on top of an edge case on top of an edge case.
And we made it.
Wow. And here's FSD dodging a few abandoned shopping carts. You can see them right there. The car slows down, doesn't go fast, but doesn't stop. It's going just like a person would. Maybe a person would go a bit faster, but it did it. Well, and I think this is pretty typical behavior of FSD. I don't think this was, one time out of 100, then it didn't fail completely. No, from my experience, this is pretty typical behavior from FSD. Elon Musk just replied to this post, and he made a pretty big statement. According to James Dama, Elon and Tesla can see up to 6 months ahead of what the public has access to. If V12.4 should indeed arguably be called V13, according to Musk, he's likely seen a breakthrough. So the real question is, what has Elon Musk seen this past few weeks that led him to multiply the number, first time FSD users via free trial, reduce FSD to $99 a month, announce the robotaxi unveiling, which is scheduled on August 8th. Elon replies with, James is largely correct. We know roughly what the car will do in 3 to 6 months. When a more advanced AI model is trained, it will have several breakthroughs, but also dozens of bugs where it performs much worse. It takes a few months to fix those bugs and complete safety tests. And what you are seeing now is suggesting you need to work on the robotaxi faster, asks Omar. In China, they just got new updates and UI looks a bit different. This is not FSD, by the way, because this is in China, but the new user interface looks pretty good. I like it. Elon Musk replied to this post as well. My favorite aspect to the race to self-driving cars is Tesla has made claims that will be falsifiable in the long run, the biggest of which, that LiDAR is dead, time will tell. And now he has, I have had FSD for a week, and it's obviously definitely 100% do not need LiDAR. Humans don't shoot lasers out of their eyes to drive, although that would be kind of cool. Dylan, though, says, I don't know, man. Farzad just posted his Q1 estimates. Here's his detailed breakdown. Feel free to pause at any time if you like. James is going to be surprised. This excludes any one-time impacts like deferred revenue from FSD. And yeah, this is the most bearish forecast that James has ever seen. The estimate from James is significantly higher, which is good because based on the last 4 quarters, the most accurate Tesla retail analyst was James. He actually beat the Wall Street consensus. But either way, tomorrow I'm not expecting any good news. I'll just say that. My expectations are low. And Troy published his EPS analysis. He's pretty much within the Wall Street consensus. He's just slightly below it. Pause and read any of his detailed analysis if you like here. So keeping in mind that James and Troy are pretty close to the analyst consensus, probably we shouldn't see anything really much below that, but you just never quite know with everything that's been happening with Tesla lately. So I'm keeping my expectations low for tomorrow, but in the long term, I have high expectations. Many of you have been asking, how do I vote and reinstate Elon Musk's compensation package? Well, pay attention here. I will go through this quickly. When you find one of your brokerages, pause the video and follow the instructions. But generally, you need to look for an email in your inbox. Many brokers outside of the US don't allow retail shareholders to vote. If you live outside of the US, contact the broker or institution who holds your Tesla shares and ask them how to vote in Tesla's 2024 annual shareholder meeting. Sometimes when you don't participate in proxy voting, brokers may exercise their discretion to cast votes on your behalf. So not only if you are, for example, in favor of Elon Musk's compensation package, and if you don't vote, not only will you now vote in favor of it, but your brokerage may actually decide to vote against Elon Musk's compensation package. So we definitely don't want that. And I agree with Sawyer 100% here. Shareholders also need to show that we do not stand for judges to retroactively invalidate our votes. And remember, Elon Musk is required to keep his shares for 5 years, which means he will continue to be driven to innovate and drive growth at Tesla because the value of his shares will depend on it. And I personally think that this vote could actually be super close. We see some big shareholders who are going to vote against this. So even just a few shares could actually make a huge difference in the outcome. So make sure that you vote. I reposted Sawyer's instructions on my profile. So if you want to click on any of these links, you can just go to my profile and then find Sawyer's post. I pinned this post on my X profile. And in Europe, this specific institution is already accepting votes, actually. So if you are with them, check now. Elon Musk yesterday explained why Tesla is cutting prices. James has a reply to that. Not a surprising answer from Elon. He's managing Tesla like OPEC manages oil. Step 1, have a meeting. Step 2, talk politics. Step 3, change the price. Elon sees order rates increase for a few weeks and thinks demand is increasing, but demand is not increasing. Orders are simply being pushed forward. The long-term impact is destructive because brand equity is being diluted. The consumer is being trained to focus on price and not value. I will say this, however, I don't think people in China care about what Elon Musk says politically. I don't think they ever even see that. Anyway, the biggest Tesla stock retail shareholder, billionaire Cogwin Leo, is heavily campaigning against Elon Musk. He says a magician, Elon Musk, is a serial stock options killer. He received gifts from Tesla of 8% in his 2009 stock option plan, again 5% in 2012, and again 10% in 2018, that the court in Delaware finally decided to rescind. Elon Musk has been fully compensated, or it could be argued, he says, overpaid by Tesla shareholders. The median of the total amounts of salary and annual bonuses paid over the last 5 fiscal years by the 10 companies to their founder CEOs was approximately 1.6 million. Of course, Elon would have been paid exactly nothing if he didn't perform, and that's still very possible that he will end up getting paid exactly nothing. Also, how many of these founder CEOs are smart enough and capable enough to build reusable rockets? Tesla is celebrating its 10th anniversary in China. Stephen Mark Ryan says it's late April 2024. Tesla's market cap is at $460 billion, and I'm still buying. Posting this to revisit 5, 10, 15, and 20 years from now. In the long term, I think it will age well. In the short term, we could be in some very interesting situations. Elon today reposted this video from Farzad, which is everything that Elon said during the Autonomy Day back in 2019. Elon also made a few more posts, not about Tesla. He pinned this post specifically about Australia, and he posted this as well. But we also have a post about Tesla specifically. He reposted this from Tesla. Today, we also got confirmation from Tesla that there are 1.7 million Tesla owners right now in China. And look at these companies in China. This is Li Auto, a Chinese pure BEV, big battery hybrid maker, which despite explosive 2023 growth, also suffered a significant quarter-on-quarter drop, just like so many others did. And here's another one. Xpeng. AJ says he quite likes Tesla's Q1 delivery numbers looking at these other guys. In Li Auto's case though, most of their cars are hybrid. We also got NIO, and not only is it down from Q4 to Q1, it's also down year over year, unlike some other companies. Jason from the All In podcast says, I think every middle class household in America will have one of these $1,000 per month robots in 7 years. That's a huge prediction. If it happens, Tesla will greatly benefit from that, because if you look at this lineup, how many companies have produced something on a big scale if you exclude Tesla. Well, none of these companies, including Boston Dynamics, have ever put anything into mass production, and it's really hard to do it profitably. Oh, by the way, Li Auto dropped prices also. Yeah, Tesla cut prices, and I would expect some of these other competitors to cut prices as well. Well, check this out. Electric has a positive article about Tesla. It has the lowest maintenance and repair cost of any brand. Consumer Reports released its 2023 annual auto surveys, which includes data directly from thousands of cars in the US. And that data confirmed that Tesla's maintenance and repair costs are the lowest of any brand in the auto industry. This is comparing cumulative costs by brand for years 1 through 5 and 6 through 10. We found that Tesla had the lowest maintenance costs. So you got years 1 to 5 in dark blue, and then 6 to 10 in this lighter blue color. You can see Tesla is number 1, Toyota is number 3. I would have thought it would be number 2. Then you got Ford, Chevy, Hyundai, Nissan, Mazda, Honda, obviously. At the opposite end of the rankings, you will find Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and Porsche. If you're looking for performance, Tesla is your choice if you want to have performance that will not break your bank. This is particularly impressive considering the average cost of Tesla vehicles versus the average cost of some of these other brands. Many other premium car brands have expensive maintenance programs that are mandatory, keeping them out of those rankings. Tesla doesn't do that, and it's paying off here. Fred has one of the oldest Tesla vehicles, a Model S from 2012, and he is now doing the first significant repair 12 years into its life. He's redoing the suspension. He also has a 2018 Model 3, which hasn't needed any significant repair so far. If Tesla decides to advertise again, it should really advertise this like crazy. I mean, Tesla can say things like, you can buy our Tesla even though it's more expensive. The repair costs are actually cheaper than what you will pay if you own a Toyota. And everyone knows, who knows about cars, that Toyotas are the most reliable vehicles. So if you can beat Toyotas, that says a lot. Multi-millionaire all-in Tesla stock investor Jason had a few words to share with all of us. How Tesla stock price anxiety. Convince yourselves that Tesla will likely break $100 for a period of time and accept it. Plan accordingly. Anxiety gone. You're not fighting it anymore. You are just waiting for it to fall more. Then why not sell and buy it back at a lower price, you may ask? Because acceptance and preparation aren't the same as predicting. Consistent prediction is impossible. Lower your short-term expectations. It's your expectations that are the problem. Kill that thing in your head that desires a stock price to increase in the short term. Having a longer-term investment horizon helps. I'm not saying it will go that low, but I am prepared for it. There's no difference to me between $140 and $100 per share from an emotional perspective. Absolutely none. I'd like to thank so much to everyone who clicks the like button and subscribes to this new channel, because that has really helped overcome that shadow ban on the other channel. The shadow ban on the other channel, I think, is still ongoing. So thank you so much to everyone clicking the like button. It is really helping. But I am getting some new details about it now. Partially, it has been shadow banned from about 50% of my regular viewers. However, it also seems that it has been just delayed to many other viewers. You can see that 3 days after I published a video, there has been a spike in impressions, but because this video is already 3 days old, no one actually wants to click on it because it's not news, it's old. So YouTube is being a Tesla bearer there. Not cool, YouTube. Anyway, I might have to abandon that other bigger channel completely, so please click the like button here and subscribe if you want to see videos from me. And let's rebuild back to 40,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode.